When you swallow up.
Sheds light on the connection between Microsoft founder Bill Gates and the late Jeffrey Epstein. After Gates' name came up in connection with Epstein and MIT Media Lab, Gates gave a statement to the Wall Street Journal where he insisted he did not have any business relationship or friendship with Epstein. But new reporting from the New York Times outlines numerous meetings between Gates and Epstein and a conversation with Bill and Melinda Gates' foundation, a connection between their foundation and JP Morgan to set up a charitable fund that would financially benefit Epstein. Gates says, no relationship, nada, nothing. You report these two men met at least 6 times. What does Gates say about that?
He and his spokespeople would not say how many in total they actually met, but this included seeing each other in Seattle, flying on Epstein's plane when we all know Bill Gates has his own $40 million plane.
Schwartz was also implicated in because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures, everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Everything.
charged with having and trading massive amounts of child pornography. Network 7's Gary Booker is live near the Gates compound in Medina, and Gary just spent work as an engineer for the family.
That's what SPD intelligence found out, Steve. They found out that the man actually works for Bill and Melinda Gates' mansion on the grounds of their sprawling 66,000 square feet estate, and that's where they found him and questioned him last March. He still is behind us, right on the lakefront here, but this is a few blocks away. It's as close as their security will allow us to get. But according to Kent County prosecutors, 51-year-old Rick Allen Jones was questioned by detectives about images of child porn and even child rape that were sent from Jones's home computer. Now, none of this alleged crime actually happened at the Gates mansion, but it was here that Rick Allen Jones admitted to detectives he collected child porn for about 10 years, sending images through his Gmail account. Now, while Jones was talking to detectives at the Gates estate, 3 more SPD detectives had to search Jones's Ballard apartment. There, they say they found more than 6,000 images of graphic child porn and rape, 133 of which were children identified by police. We tried Jones's apartment for comment. We got no response. We also reached out to Bill and Melinda Gates' foundation, and we did not hear back, so in fact we do not know if he's been fired by the Gates' family. Another mystery for this is why Jones was never jailed or charged by these allegations up until now. The investigation started here at the Gates Foundation, the Gates mansion in March, and the criminal complaint, which I have right here, says he has to show up in court and face a judge in the coming days. So we're going to keep track of this. We're digging into the charges. We'll keep you posted on the latest. Live from the lakefront in Medina tonight. I'm Gary Booker.
Scientific idea of these new compounds could radically change that, so that a lot of the steps are sitting there ready. The factory piece, understanding the regulatory piece, you just have to plug in some quick safety profiles, and then you can get manufacturing quite rapidly. Well, we need vaccines for a lot of things, not just epidemics. We need a HIV vaccine, a tuberculosis vaccine, a vaccine. All of those things are in the works. In the next decade, I think that's the way we'll get solutions.
Machine looks. As a parent, I can tell you, these people will never stop fighting for their kids.
It's the Rothschilds.
Is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted son. Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property. That sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
When you swallow
business decisions, only to turn around and give away most of his fortune to advance his own personal philosophy. He can move world financial markets simply by voicing an opinion, or destabilize a government by buying and selling its currency. He also pledged war aid last year to help people in Russia than the U.S. government did. But now George Soros is worried. He thinks the global economy is coming apart at the seams. The world needs to be protected from people like George Soros.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country.